Hey, welcome back, boys and girls. It feels like it's been a very, very long time since we did a flipped video. So we're back at it with a new edition. We're going to learn something brand new. Our I can statement is I can estimate the mass of objects using grams. So I don't know whether you've talked about mass or not, and if you have, you might have talked about it in science, but we're going to talk about it in math. So I hope you have your paper and pencil ready, and let's dig in. Okay, on the next slide, I'm going to make a T-chart about the difference between weight and mass. So I want you to go ahead and copy this T-chart onto your paper with me as we go. Okay, we're going to start off by talking about something that we already know something about, and that is weight. We talk about weight all the time. How much does something weigh? Whether you're talking about yourself or you're talking about an object. A lot of times we purchase things by weight. If you go to the grocery store and you buy apples or bananas or even meat, you buy it by the pound. So weight is something we talk about all the time. Mass is something that we don't talk about as much, and in fact, most of the time we talk about it in science. So we're going to talk about what we know about weight first. When we talk about how much something weighs, that is determined, it's based on gravity. When something weighs a certain amount, it's how that weight is determined by the weight of gravity pushing down on the object. So weight changes based on how much gravity there is. So what you weigh on Earth is different than what you weigh on the moon or on Saturn or on Jupiter based on how much gravity there is. So the important thing to remember here is that weight changes based on gravity. Another thing is to remember is that in the United States, we determine weight in pounds. And the abbreviation for that is LBS. Okay, and then we use a scale, that's our tool, to determine weight. So if we move over here and we talk about mass, mass is, the definition of mass is how much matter is inside of something. So how much matter, I guess I should write how much matter is in something. And the key word there is matter. And when we talk about matter, all that is how much stuff is inside something. So the building blocks of matter are atoms, and it's just how much of that, how dense that is packed together. What's important to know is that mass never changes. It's not determined on gravity. It's based on how much matter is inside something. And so it never changes. The tool we use is pictured right here. It's called a balance scale. And it's called that because you can see that these little pans here, those move vertically. So the heavier an item is, the farther it goes down. The other thing that we want to talk about is that mass is measured in grams. And the abbreviation for that is G. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about mass. You might want to write these things down. If you didn't write the T-chart down, you might want to write these down. So for mass, the tool we said was the balance scale. And the unit is the gram. Now, what exactly is a gram? Well, when you think about 1 gram, you can imagine holding a paper clip. So that's about 1 gram. Now, if you want to go larger than that, there's also the kilogram. And both of these have abbreviations. The gram, the abbreviation is a little g, and the kilogram is a capital G and a little g. Okay, so for a kilogram, you can imagine holding a dictionary. And remember, we said that mass doesn't change. It's based on how much matter is in an object. So a paperclip has has 1 gram of matter in it, and the dictionary has about 1 kilogram. Now there's one more piece of information that you need, and that's what's the equivalence. So 1,000 grams equals 1 kilogram. So what if I were to say that I had 2 kilograms? Can you think about how many grams that would be? I hope you said 2,000. 2,000 grams would equal 1 kilogram. If I had 3 kilograms, I would have, that's right, 3,000 grams. Good. So what if I told you I had 5,000 grams? How many kilograms would that be? 5. Good. All right, let's move on. One last important detail about mass. Mass is always used to measure solid objects. So these are things that have matter. So, desks and chairs and tennis shoes and pet puppies and those kinds of things. It's not used to measure liquids. We're going to learn about that later. All right, I'm going to have a couple word problems for you to solve just to get your mind going. And it's almost the end of their grade. So when you read these word problems, you're going to have to think about, do they want me to add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Because we've learned all of those operations. So read this problem and go ahead and work it and see if, come back to check to see if you got the answer right. Okay, if we read this problem, it says Kelly bought 3 boxes of cookies. Each box weighed 9 kilograms. It says how many kilograms did the boxes weigh in all? And you have to be kind of tricky because you see this in all, and it immediately makes me think I need to add. But if I add 3 plus 9, I'm not going to get the right answer. It says I have 3 boxes of cookies, so I'm going to draw them out. I have 3 boxes of cookies, and it says that each box weighs 9 and 9. So I can see here that I have 3 groups of 9. And if I know groups of, I'm going to do 3 groups of 9. I'm going to multiply. And 3 groups of 9 is 27. So they weigh 27 kilograms in all. Okay, one last problem. See if you can work this one and decide whether you're going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide, and then come back to check. Okay, for this problem, it says an apple weighs 246 grams and a cantaloupe weighs 623 grams. It says how many more grams does the cantaloupe weigh than the apple? So the how many more is a clue that this is a subtraction problem. So you should have had 623 minus 246. Okay, so you have to remember all your subtraction rules. So I checked to see if the bottom is bigger, and it is. So I'm going to go next door to regroup. So I've taken 1 from the tens. I have 13. 13 minus 6 is 7. Go to the next column. The tens column, again, the bottom is bigger, so I'm going to regroup. 11 minus 4, 7 again, and then 5 minus 2 is 3. And then, so the cantaloupe is 377 grams larger than the apple. Okay, we've come to the end, so that's all for today. So today's riddle is, what starts with T, ends with a T, and is full of tea? It's a teapot. All right, I'll see you back in class so we can do some more work with matter.